Hi guys, welcome to Early Years Matters TV. On this channel, we give parenting tips, we focus on early childhood, and we also review toys. If these are the kind of things you're looking for, what you have to do, subscribe, and not just subscribe, turn on the notification bell so that you'll be the first person to be notified each time a new video is being dropped on the channel. So today I'm going to be talking about how to create an inclusive classroom. Yes, educators, today's video is going to be focusing on how you could create an inclusive early childhood classroom. But before I talk about how to create an inclusive early childhood classroom, now let's look at what is inclusion. Inclusion is a process whereby you as the educator create a learning environment that works for all your students, irrespective of their needs, their interests, their strengths, their background, wherever they are coming from, who they are. So inclusion is a process whereby you as the educator create a learning environment that accommodates all the children in your classroom. Now let's talk about how you could create an inclusive classroom. One way you could create an inclusive classroom is to make avenue to listen to all the children in your classroom. Yes, as an educator, it's really important that you listen to all the children in your classroom. Sometimes it's challenging, I know, for you to listen to all the students, but it's really important that you have to map out ways to listen to the children in your classroom. So it could be one-on-one time. Maybe give each children classroom 5 minutes or 10 minutes of your time every day so that you can listen to them. Or you could also do it like this. Maybe on Monday, you're going to focus on 5 children, listen to them, talk to them, find out about their needs, what they want, and the following day as well, you can focus more on 5 children. But it's really important for you to create an inclusive classroom. You need to listen to all the children in your classroom. Another way you could create an inclusive classroom is do not compare the children in your classroom. It's really important. You need to understand that in child development, children are different. They might be of the same age, but they are different in terms of their needs, in terms of their wants, in terms of their strength. So for you to create an inclusive classroom, do not compare the children in your classroom. Don't compare child A to child B, child C, D, and so on. It's really important. Work with each child according to their strength, according to their needs. And this is where you map out how you're going to support each child in your classroom. So if you want to create an inclusive early childhood classroom, say no to comparison. Am I making sense? If you want to create an inclusive early childhood classroom, do not compare. Say no to comparison. Yes. Another way you could create an inclusive classroom is to aware of the specific needs of the children in your classroom. Yes, when you are aware of their specific needs, and definitely you'll be able to support them. How can you be aware of their specific needs? It's by observing them. When you observe them, you'll be able to find out about their needs in terms of what they want, and you'll be able to support them. Another way you could also find out about the specific needs of the children in your classroom is to talk to their parents. You need to understand that parents are the primary caregiver of their children. So when you talk to them, they can be able to tell you about their children's needs, and you'll be able to support them in their classroom. This is important. Another way you could create an inclusive early childhood classroom is to do what? Is to be aware of the specific needs of the children. Take note of this, all right? Another way to create an inclusive early childhood classroom is to make sure that your classroom ensures that each children thrive. So you need to try your possible best as educators to make sure that the environment, the classroom is conducive for all children. This is important. So you have to consider in terms of their needs, maybe you have to adapt the classroom to suit their needs, to suit their strength, to suit their interests. So it's really important that for you to create an inclusive early childhood classroom, you have to ensure that your classroom is conducive for everyone in terms of it's safe, so that when your classroom is safe, each child in your classroom can be able to thrive, they can be able to try out ideas, they can be able to do things on their own. So in relation to creating an inclusive early childhood classroom, it's important that you ensure that your classroom is safe for everyone, your classroom is accommodating for all the children to thrive. And lastly, in order to create an inclusive early childhood classroom, it's really important that you scaffold. What do I mean by scaffolding? Scaffolding is the process where you, as the educator, you support the child or the children in your classroom to reach their next stage of development. For instance, if a child is struggling in relation to using their fine motor skills, then your role as the educator is to be able to support the child. It could be maybe pairing the child with other children that they are very good in terms of using their fine motor skills, and the child will be able to learn from them. Scaffolding is all about Vygotsky's idea. For some of you that are familiar with child development, so scaffolding is a process whereby you as the educator or the peers will be able to support the child. So for instance, if there's a particular child in the classroom struggling in terms of maybe using their fine motor skills, in terms of communicating, socializing, so you could pair the child with other children that are very excellent in terms of their social needs, using their fine motor skills, and then the child will be able to learn from them, and the child will be able to move on to the next stage in terms of communicating with people and their peers. So these are just some of the ways you could create an inclusive early childhood classroom. And if you want more of this on this channel, what you have to do is subscribe, and not just subscribe, please turn on that notification bell so that every time a new video is being dropped on this channel, you'll be the first person to be notified. Until I come your way next time, stay safe and mind yourselves for now. Bye.